Hi there, today I thought I'd take the opportunity to have a chat about author websites and in particular what you should put on yours to make sure that it is really working for you. I thought I'd also give you a bit of a tour of my own author website, so make yourself a nice drink, settle down and let's do this. Hola amigos, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emma Bennet and I am the author of 7 contemporary romance novels and 1 children's picture book. Well, a couple of weeks ago I made a video all about how important it was to have an author website and whether you should actually have one. So for this video we are assuming that you have decided that you would like to have a website, and I'm going to have a chat to you about some of the most important things to include. I thought I would begin by giving you guys a bit of a tour of my own author website. This will involve me being a little bit tech savvy, so it may very well not work, but let's see what I can do. So here is my website. It's emma-bennet.co.uk. Got my name up at the top, and then the pages that we have are home, my books, my blog, about me, and contact me. Got a little bit of a welcome to begin with, and then we've got my book covers on this rather funky carousel affair, which I really like. Bit more information about what you can find on the website, and then we've got my latest blog posts. I think I might change this actually because I don't think I need quite so many blog posts on my homepage, and that might make it look a little bit cleaner. A little bit about me there and a picture of me, and then my social media links, and you can click through to the About Me section. Then in my books, each of my books has got a different bit that you can click. We'll go for Starstruck because I like the guy with the guitar. And we have the cover, we've got the blurb here, a buy button, and then there's like a longer synopsis here and links to other books by me as well. I don't sell books directly from my website. If I had special editions, I guess I might, or maybe I could do signed copies. It's just not something I've really looked into. Then the next section is my blog, which I'm afraid, not very good about updating. Although August 28th, that's not too bad, is it? Yeah, I do actually like writing the blog posts. It's just one of those things. It's not the most immediate thing I have to do, so it tends to get put off. Next is the About Me section. There's just a bit more about me as an author. And then the last page is the Contact Me. And that has got a link to sign up to my newsletter. It's got my social media things, and then it's got my email as well. One really clever feature of this website is that if you visited it for the first time and you scroll through it for more than about 5 seconds, I think it is, a little box that comes up inviting you to sign up to my newsletter. So that is something that I really like, and I would recommend that you get if you're able to. So that is my whole website. It's really easy to navigate, really simple, but I hope that it has all the information that my readers need. Well, that went better than expected, didn't it? Hey, look at me go, look at me doing all the technology stuff. I am proud of me today. So, the most important features that you need to have on your website are definitely ways for people to buy your books and to be able to get in contact with you further if they want to. The absolute one thing that I would say as the top tip of an author website is do not set up an author website unless you actually have a book that people can buy. It's just unnecessary expense and it's a waste of your time. You should be spending that time writing, not messing around making a website look lovely when you don't actually have anything for people to go to it about yet. Of course, as soon as you have a book out, it's really, really important that you have a website. It's a great place for you to collect together all that information about yourself that you would really like your readers to find out. It's all contained and you have control over that space. I would definitely recommend that you do a newsletter sign up. Newsletters can be absolutely vital. There are some authors that manage to have tens of thousands of readers connected to them by this newsletter. And again, it is something that you control yourself. It is not social media that can go down at any time and that you don't have as much control over. Now, just because you get people to sign up to a newsletter doesn't mean that you have to send them masses and masses of regular updates. In fact, that will probably annoy most people and they'll end up unsubscribing. But just the fact that you have these people subscribe to your newsletter means that when you do have a really big piece of news, you're able to get it out to those people who are most likely to listen and want to buy your books. You should also obviously have your contact details, your author email address, and all of your social media links. It is vital that people are able to get hold of you. Some authors also include a media kit on there. I'm not sure that I'm quite at the stage of needing a media kit, but that is something that you might want to consider. It is a very handy thing to have to be able to send to people, libraries and bookshops and everything like that, if you are going to be wanting them to buy your books. So it might be a nice thing for you to do and to have available on your website, even if you don't think that the New York Times is going to be interviewing you anytime soon. Another absolute essential is to have links to your books. I like to make sure that I have a nice big image of the cover as well as a blurb and then a longer synopsis. It is really important that you have the links to where people can buy those books and that you make it super easy for them to click on those links. It should only be a few clicks until there's some royalty money going into your pocket. I think it's also nice to include an author bio on a website. I think most authors do this. It's not absolutely vital, but I do think that readers like to know the person behind the book, and it's a really simple thing to do. It only needs to take you a few minutes. It's really good to put it on Amazon and Goodreads and other sites as well, so it's not wasted time at all. Make sure that you've got a few decent pictures of yourself as well. Readers love to see what the author looks like. As you saw in my tour of my website, I also have a blog, which I repeat, I am not very good at keeping up to date with, but I think it is a nice addition to have on the website, and nobody says that you have to update it all the time. It's also very handy, apparently, to have a blog on your author website. In fact, websites which have blogs get 55% more traffic than websites that don't. Another little extra that you can add to your website, which I don't have on mine, but I have been thinking about putting on there, are some nice reviews. If you've got some lovely reviews on Amazon, Goodreads, or even just a fellow author who's happy to write something because they enjoyed your book, make sure that you shout about it and get it on your website. You could maybe have a different one at the bottom of each page, kind of do a carousel of them like I had with my books. I don't know, there's all kinds of things that you could do with them. As well as the actual elements that you put into your website, there are some other things that it is really important to take into consideration. The first one is obviously check the spelling and the grammar really, really well. There is nothing worse than a spelling mistake in the middle of a website. Maybe get a friend or family member to check it as well, because I don't know about you, but I find it really hard to proofread my own writing. The mistakes that we make ourselves, they just slip by us and we miss them. Your website is representing your author brand and it is selling your author brand. You want to make sure that your website shows that off properly. If you are a romance writer, for example, you're going to want to make your website look quite pretty. You're probably going to want to go with quite bright colours maybe, or maybe kind of some understated pastels, maybe pinks, purples, light blues, colours like that. You're not going to have a lot of black and red and navy blue on there, because that just won't be telling your readers that that's what your brand is about. Similarly, if you have a lot of your books set in beautiful rural locations, then make sure that your website reflects that. Maybe put some pictures of the places that you write about on there. If you particularly rural books, you know, you might want to use some greens and some brown tones to represent that. It's a good idea to go for larger font sizes and also fonts that are easy to read. I find that S's can be a particular problem with some fonts. My husband is actually very clever and can kind of fiddle around with the S's to make them so that they're much clearer to read, but that's not something that I'd be able to do myself, to just make sure that all the writing is really clear for people to be able to read. You also don't want to put a light font on a dark background, and you want to have a big contrast between the font colour and the colour of the background so that that font really pops out and makes it easy for people to be able to follow it. Make sure that you keep your website simple, and in particular you want to keep the navigation simple. You don't want people to be looking for your Facebook details, for example, and just not be able to find them. Another really useful tip is to use colour to help people to navigate. So what you can do is you can have one colour, which is basically your click on me colour, and keep that consistent through the whole website. Keep it simple with colours as well. Try not to go too overboard. Between 2 and 4 colours is best, because you do want to make it nice to look at, and you don't want people's brains to be going completely because there's all these crazy colours everywhere and different fonts, and they don't know where to find anything, and there's like flashing things going off and videos playing, and their computer's not happy with it because their Wi-Fi isn't strong enough, and then the whole thing crashes and it's a complete disaster. In general, avoid being too flashy with it, because if things take too long to load, or if they won't load and they crash the website, people get really frustrated, and there's only so much patience that they have, and they won't come back to your website if it's not working properly. Also, keep the elements of your website consistent across the whole of the website. So you want the backgrounds of your pages to be the same. You want the fonts to be the same, going from page to page, type of images that you use. Keep it uniform throughout the whole of the site. And my final tip is to make sure that your website is compatible with all the different devices that everybody has available nowadays. Just make sure that you check it across as many different devices as you can, particularly Apple products, because they can be quite funny with like Flash Player, I believe. So just make sure that you check that out really thoroughly. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope that you have found this video helpful in some way. It was fun, and I was really proud of myself for doing that little tour of my website for you. If you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Make sure that you like and comment and boop that notification bell so that YouTube lets you know every time I have got a new video available, and I will catch you in the next one.